All right, y'all. We're back with our NFL Week 11 game picks. So we got HSC Podcast 171. We're gonna come back from our recap of Week 10, jumping into Week 11 picks. So last week, 9-5, 8-6. Um, Pulled the win percentage. We're still a little bit behind me, but I'm still only sitting about 67%. So we need a big big couple weeks here to get back on track to get over that 70% in our game picks. That's why hopefully people are listening for our game picks, right?
Mhm.
All right, so week 11, Thursday night matchup, the Jets at New England. New England's 13 and a half favorite. Keep in mind we're using ESPN odds when I'm talking about the lines. So what do you think? You got the Jets on a roll after the big win at the Browns?
Yeah. Well, we talked about it earlier, but the Patriots are on an even bigger roll. So yeah, you got to take the Patriots here. They have a decent offense. Stevenson's out, and then there were a few other guys out. I forgot who was, but Garrett Wilson's out for the Jets. Vrabel will have this team to play, so I got to take the Patriots here. Probably even to cover.
Yeah, that was the only. I mean, obviously, I agree. Definitely taking the Pats here. We talked about them earlier in our last week recap. They have a lot of momentum. They're beating good teams and bad teams. It doesn't matter. So when you look at like the Bills, for example, losing to bad teams, you look at the Patriots run they're on right now. They've played the Saints, they've played the Titans, they played the Browns, but then they also beat the Bills and they beat the Bucks, and so they're beating good teams too. So there's a consistency in what's happening in New England as well, and they're at home. 13 and a half is a lot to cover though. So I'm definitely taking with New England. Man, I they will probably cover. So if I had to put money on it, if you're making me do it, I'll take them to cover. But New England's definitely the pick there. And then we got another overseas game. So this one's in Madrid in Spain. And we got Washington at Miami. So Commanders. I haven't seen anything on Jaden Daniels yet. It's still pretty early in the week.
I'm pretty sure he's not, but
And so that was the biggest question you have there. And I don't even know that that's a question because you've got Terry McLaurin out. Yeah, it looks like Jaden Daniels is probably still out. So in Miami, big win last week over Buffalo. Commanders didn't look great. And I hate to say it, but it looks like Miami has a little bit of offense coming around. They got a balance happening with A Chain running the ball a lot. They're now throwing to Waddle, which they weren't doing a lot of that. So I got to say, Miami definitely will cover three.
this is one I hate because the overseas games, you just don't know who's going to show up. What I just read was Jaden Daniels probably was out 3 to 6 weeks
Yeah.
in that frame. He should just sit out the rest of the year, like I said a few weeks ago, before then he got injured again. But yeah, you got to, and this is weird. Yeah, take the Dolphins. They just beat the Bills, which means they're going to lose because that's what happens with the Dolphins. But I don't know if McLaurin's going to be playing, and you know what you get with Mariota. So yeah, taking the Dolphins to cover.
Yeah, there's just not enough weapons in on the Commanders team right now to say that they can come out and beat Miami. And again, anything can happen in Spain. I've been there. It's crazy. But I'm putting my money on the Dolphins here because I don't think McDaniel is ready to lose his job yet either.
Right.
Where it's like Dayball, I think was already ready to lose his job. Where I think Mike McDaniel still wants his job for a little longer. So we're both taking Miami there. Oh, here you go. Carolina and Atlanta in the rematch.
Well,
Just yeah,
going
in
by
Atlanta.
Wes's theory,
Yeah.
you got to take the Falcons because it's a home game, it's on turf. So the Falcons are going to win. And can you really trust the Panther? The Panthers just lost to the Saints. So this is going to be the Falcons where they look really good now. And yeah, I think they beat the Panthers by 7.
Yeah, at home with Atlanta, and Atlanta hasn't been playing horrible the last few weeks. They obviously haven't won the games, but you look at the teams that they played with the Colts and with the Patriots, close games with both of them, 1 point game, overtime game. So it's not like they're getting destroyed. It's just, you'd like to see a lot more consistency out of the Falcons. But at home against Carolina, who you just don't really, you can't trust at all as far as their ups and downs. 3.5, I'm taking Atlanta for sure.
Um, well, that was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, okay, so I was getting bad info. But yeah, for some reason it was popping up about Kirk Cousins starting. I'm like, what? But no, it's Penix.
Yeah, no, Phoenix is back. So Atlanta should, I mean, how many times this year has Atlanta done this to me though? This will be the time I'm going to put them in. I'm going to be like, this is they're one of my locks of the week, and then they're going to lose.
Yep. Well, it's a Panthers curse. They're going to be like, Steve, we, we traded for Bryce Young and
Yep.
Bears. I'm going to show you.
Yeah, Carolina is just going to always come back to haunt me because of that bad trade they made. There's an interesting game here, Tampa at Buffalo, both coming off of losses. I mean, pretty important games that they both lost there. You look at Tampa moving down to 6-3. Still got a good lead in the NFC South, though. Like the South is just so bad.
Like usual.
But this seems like a must win for Buffalo. You go to 6-4 if you lose this. They don't have a particularly hard schedule, so it's not like it's a season killer. But just for the team's confidence, you would like to think that Buffalo has to win this game at home. They're a 5.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo here. I believe it comes down to James Cook. It looks like it's going to be light snow and wind up to 20 miles per hour. So that's going to kind of hinder Baker.
Right.
And Bucky Irving's not back yet, right?
No, he's not announced to play yet. He's still pretty questionable. So,
So I believe this will be a James Cook, Josh Allen run game.
yes.
I got the Bills winning this.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it there on the head when you said that this type of weather doesn't suit Tampa or Baker in particular, where when you got a running quarterback like Josh Allen, this is where he thrives. And then, yeah, and James Cook should go for 100, maybe 120. So I definitely think this is a must win for Buffalo. You're going to have a big running game out of Cook and Josh Allen. So if you got a 40, 50-yard prop bet on Josh Allen running the ball, I'd take that one. So in agreement there. Houston at Tennessee. I mean, I like Houston here. Tennessee just, I don't think there's any reason that to pick them as a favorite in many games. But Houston didn't look bad. They started the game bad, but Davis Mills did some good stuff. Their defense had some big plays. They're not out of it, They're 4-5 at this point. There's still quite a bit of season left. I think the Titans don't really have much to play for, where Houston does. Even though they're on the road, I think Houston will cover 6.5. So I'm taking Houston.
Yeah, overall, the Texans are the better team, so I just got to take the Texans here. And the Titans, they're kind of they're one in that number one pick.
I mean, can you get it 2 years in a row?
It's like the Bears.
Who knows what it'll do for your franchise, right? But yeah, Tennessee just won it. I mean, even the game they won, they really shouldn't have won. So it's kind of hard to pick them in any situation. All right, well, Bears at Minnesota. Everybody knows what I'm picking here, but what are you picking?
I'm going with the Bears. I mean, they should have won the last time they played. I'm not really sold on JJ McCarthy. Uh, Justin Jefferson doesn't look happy now, and the Bears are on a roll. Gotta go with the hot hand. Going with the Bears.
Yeah, I would think that this is going to be a pretty even game, um, as far as score, but just play in general. The Bears do have the winning, 6 of your last 7. That feels good. It makes you feel a little better. I think Minnesota's receivers have the potential to give the Bears a lot of fits, but that comes down to JJ McCarthy, right? So if McCarthy can deliver the ball on time and find open receivers, then Minnesota definitely can win this game. But you're right. I think you go with who is on the roll right now, and plus I go with Chicago anyway. So we're taking the Bears here. No need to cover because they're the underdog. Green Bay at the Giants. So we talked about this in the recap earlier, and this game got a whole lot more interesting with potentially. I mean, he's named the starter, right? Jameis Winston's
Yeah.
named the starter. Yeah, I mean, so you get Jameis Winston here, and you've got a struggling Packers offense. I mean, their defense doesn't look horrible, but it's not great. In the New York, coach just gets fired. This is an ideal game for the Giants to win, and I'm taking the Giants.
You're a better man than I. This is where the toughest game for me to pick. But I'm taking the Packers, not to cover though. I just feel like this is not going to be the Jameis 500-yard game. I think this is going to be the Jameis throw a bunch of picks game.
Right.
So I'm going to take the Packers here.
Well, it's funny on a 7.5 cover, they've only scored 20 points the last 2 games combined.
Right.
Uh, yeah, this is just one of those games where it's like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of times when a coach gets fired and they bring in someone that the team just seems to play better that next game, even if they don't
Yeah.
play the rest of the season great. You have that one game where they come out and they're like, "Oh, look how good we are." I think this is that game for New York. So we definitely got our first swing game there. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. This was a really interesting game here. So what do you got here?
I don't know why I'm going with them, but I'm sticking with the Steelers. But that's just because the Bengals have no defense. So I gotta go the Steelers here, even though if the Steelers play like they did a few weeks ago defensively, then no. But I'm gonna go Steelers here at home.
Yeah, I mean they're the favorite. They're at home, 5.5 point favorite. But
The
man, I just
Bengals
don't.
have no defense.
They really
Zero.
don't. The problem is the Steelers come out. The last time they played the Bengals, it was anybody's game. And granted, they had a pretty tough schedule where they lost the Packers, then they beat the Colts, then they lose the Chargers. I don't know. I don't trust the Steelers at all. And it's tough to say when, they're winning the division. But they're 5-4 now. Like if you would have told me the division in the AFC North winner at this week would be 5-4, I thought you were crazy.
Right. Well, yeah, because we'd all think it was the Ravens.
Yeah. Well, you'd think you'd be like 7-2.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Cincinnati. I don't know what either of these teams is going to do, to be honest. And the weather back there, who knows what it's going to be like. This is really anybody's game for me. And I think Pittsburgh, they just, I don't know, they're not consistent for me. Their defense could come in and win this game for them, though. And that's what you just don't know. And that's what they need to do. But I guess it depends on who's playing quarterback for Cincinnati as well. Because there's still questions around Flacco.
What do you mean about Flacco not starting?
Well, he's questionable right now.
Oh.
He was limited in practice today. His status is listed as questionable.
Yeah, if he doesn't play, ugh, Jake Browning.
All right. He's real bad. So come game time, Flacco's not playing. I'm flipping to the Steelers. But if Flacco plays, which it looks like he probably will, I'm taking Cincinnati. All right, the Chargers at Jacksonville. Jeez, Chargers 2.5 point favorite on the road. You just you can't definitely trust Jacksonville at all at this point. Their ups and downs are too much. They've lost three of their last four. Their only win was barely beating the Raiders with their last four games. But then it's like you beat the Chiefs, 49ers, and Texans right before that. I mean, how inconsistent can you be? I think the Chargers need to win this game. They're in a division battle. Kansas City's making their way back up. Denver's still ahead of them. Chargers got to win this game. So I'm taking the Chargers, and I think they'll cover that small spread.
Isn't this a Herbert revenge game? Playoffs,
Yeah. Well, no,
Jags.
because well, didn't they lose to Houston last year?
Yeah, the year before,
Oh, yeah.
they were at home. The Jags went in to the LA, the SoFi,
Yeah.
and beat the Chargers.
But Jimmy, you're talking about Chargers, losing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's just
But
normal.
this is the regular season, so that's why it's a revenge game.
Right.
So I got the Chargers here. They looked pretty good against the Steelers, but that's what we've said all year. It's like they look really good and then they look really bad. If they go up against teams with great ends, because both Alt and Slade are out for the season, so they are on borrowed terms of backups at the tackle position. I just don't think the Jags have the pass rush to stop them.
Well, yeah, and you saw even last week against the Steelers, like the Steelers end still got theirs, when you look at Highsmith and Watt. I think they had 3 sacks between them, right? So even with that pressure that's the Steelers got on the ends, well, the Steelers just weren't able to score either, though. So that was the problem. But I mean, I just don't trust Jacksonville enough to win this game.
Right.
This next game might be the game of the week, although there's a lot of good afternoon games and finish up the week. But man, Seattle going and playing at LA against the Rams. You got both teams at 7-2 right now. They both have a 2-game lead on San Francisco, but one looks like just a great defense, and the other looks like a great offense. What do you got here?
Well, I'm going with my hunch, and I'm going with the fact that I picked them to win the division, and I'm taking the Seahawks and the defense because a great defense trumps a great offense. So even though it's on the road, I'm taking Seahawks here. Devontae Adams will play, but he's injured. Um, I don't know how much that will affect, but I got a feeling the Seahawks. I hate it because I can't stand Seahawk fans, but you gotta give them their due. The Seahawks are playing well.
Yeah, their defense is flying to the ball, causing turnovers, getting scoring on defense. Devontae Adams is questionable, but I don't know that even playing without Devontae Adams is not going to terribly hurt them. I mean, he's a good weapon, but Stafford's going to find the open receivers. He's still got Puka Nacua out there. This is a tough one, man. I'm back and forth on this one, and I'll just settle on the Rams. That's was my initial gut thought was the Rams, and we could have a swing game. So a 3.5, I'll gotta think they're going to cover because such a low cover. But this is a tough game. This definitely could go either way. But I'm going to stick with the Rams. I like the ability for Stafford. He's getting rid of the ball quick. He's and he knows that he can't take a lot of damage at this point in his career, and he's not throwing interceptions. And so Seattle's going to have to force him to turn the ball over. So good swing game there. San Francisco at Arizona. Beginning of the season, this might have earmarked for a better game. But you look at Arizona, I mean, you've lost one, two, three, four, five, six of your last seven. So Harrison looks like he's out. You already don't have Kyler Murray. I got San Francisco here. I don't see how Arizona can win this game. And San Francisco has to win. They got to keep up in the division.
Yeah, Cardinals are a dumpster fire. Now they're talking about how Murray really isn't that hurt and he could have, but then they put him on the IR because they don't want to play him anymore. They want to trade him. Yeah, Harrison's out. Harrison just looked like he was starting to play up to his potential and gets hurt. So yeah, I'm taking the Niners here.
Yeah, you'd think 2.5 uh, point spread with San Francisco. This might be the lock of the week. If you're looking for an easy one here, you're only giving up 2.5 points.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Arizona will surprise me, but I would take this as my lock of the week. San Francisco to cover 2.5. Baltimore at Cleveland, probably not going to be the most exciting game. I got to tell you though, Baltimore. If I was Derrick Henry in Baltimore, I would be pissed. Every time they get down to the goal line, they're gonna throw it to a tight end. They're gonna run it to someone else. Bring Justice in. It's like, dude, just give Henry the ball.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I get it, like if you have Justice Hill and everyone's like, oh, they're not going to run the ball. But, and I get what Derrick Henry and is like, that's who they're going to get to do. But it is ridiculous. And that's the thing, it's just so maddening to me. And this is what it's been for years since they've got Derrick Henry. It's like, oh, we got Lamar Jackson. I don't care. You give the ball to Derrick Henry.
Right.
You go to the Super Bowl if you give the ball to Derrick Henry.
Well, it's also, the goal line situations. I don't know who else do you want running the ball with a yard or two to gain. I don't see why you'd want to throw the ball. Especially when you get later in the season, you're getting colder weather. You got to start giving Derrick Henry the ball more. But going into Cleveland, 7.5 points. Baltimore will probably easily cover this. They have to win. Obviously, we know Baltimore's situation right now. They're trying to climb back from the dead, and Cleveland's not stopping them. I mean, they're right there with Pittsburgh now. Pittsburgh's 5-4 now, and Baltimore's 4-5.
Right, and the way you have it, they'll tie him up this week.
Yep. But I'm definitely taking Baltimore here.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I have Baltimore. I had Baltimore going to the Super Bowl, didn't I?
They better beat
So,
Cleveland.
yeah, so they better beat Cleveland. So
But the positive thing is, it looks like they're back on track for the playoffs, though.
yeah, but it doesn't matter if they don't give the ball to Derrick Henry.
Right. Here's so two more good games coming up, but this one is real interesting. Kansas City at Denver. Kansas City's actually the favorite on the road with a worse record against the division leader. 8-2 division leader against the 5-4 Kansas City Chiefs on the road, and they're the favorite. Tell me when that happens.
Well, when you watch Denver's games, you kind of figure that out. And
Man.
it is the Chiefs. And that's why, and it's so weird to me to say, but I'm taking the Chiefs. It's to be the man, you got to beat the man, and they got to prove that they can beat the Chiefs. So
Yeah.
until you can prove that you can beat the Chiefs, then I don't have any faith in you.
Well, and they got him twice, to finish the season too. This is
Yeah.
one of two as they finish out their season with the Chiefs. But for all of the Denver shortcomings, they've won 7 in a row.
Right.
Beat the Eagles, probably the only notable big win there. But even their losses to the two losses to the Chargers and Colts, you're talking about into the game, last second things happening. Of course, they've had some of that in their favor too, so you can't use those excuses. But you win a division, you're at home, you've won 7 in a row. I got to take Denver. So we got another swing game here. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily that much better than the Chiefs. I think teams wise, they're pretty close as far as talent level, skill level, things like that. Obviously, quarterback, the Chiefs are much better.
Well, and that's
But
the thing. The Broncos have won one game against a good team,
right. No, as I said, their only notable win there is
the
the
Eagles.
Eagles. But the thing is, like, you still keep winning though, right? So we'll
Mhm.
see if they can. I saw a stat on Denver, which I thought was interesting. They're one of the only teams to ever be leading their division and to have the win record, but be leading the league in punting. And a lot of people were kind of saying, well, that's because they don't go for it on fourth downs like everybody else. They don't go with the analytics that says go for it all the time on fourth down. So maybe there is something to be said about that old school style of, punt the ball away, play field position, let your defense win games for you.
Well, they're also in Mile High, so they get longer kicks.
But defensively, their defense, like, because they're leading the league in sacks, right?
Right.
They're doing a lot of things well on defense. So I don't know. Maybe it's just my disdain for the Chiefs.
I would love to see it. I'd love to see Mahomes get sacked like 5 times,
Yeah,
but I just don't see it happening. It's like the thing is with the NFL had a chance. They had a chance to kick the Chiefs and get them out, and they let them back in. They're giving them a chance, and that's the problem. So now it's like you can't. It's like the Blue Jays had so many chances to take the Dodgers out, and they just kept leaving the door open.
yeah.
And that's what everyone's doing with the Chiefs. It's like, oh, Chiefs are not, third in the division, all this, but they're still there.
They are. I mean, that's not like but it's this game, and then they go in and play the Colts the week after. They could put themselves in trouble.
Or they could be back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They win those two games. You're back to 7-4. You beat not only your conference or your division leader, but you also then beat another division leader in the FC. So that this could be momentum building for the Chiefs for sure. But as it stands, we're on another swing game. So we got a couple of them going now. I like it. Another real pretty good game here. Sunday night football, finally, Detroit at Philadelphia. Although Philly didn't look great at all on Monday night.
And then you got AJ Brown
Right.
complaining and yeah, oh, if you have your money on your fantasy teams, get rid of me.
What an idiot.
It's like, dude, you guys are winning. Stop.
Right, you're 7-2. Your closest division rival is 3-5-1.
You won the Super Bowl last year,
Right.
but it's like, oh, my stats suck. Then you should have stayed with Tennessee.
He's always been kind of a selfish player, though.
Yeah. Receivers. What can you
Yeah.
say?
Nothing you can do about them, right? But
Mm.
I mean, they haven't looked particularly great the last few weeks. Monday night included, being really bad. You lost the Giants 4 games ago. You did beat them 2 games, ago, but not a great game against the Vikings. Lost to the Broncos for the Giants. So, like, are things that great in Philly?
Well, like you said, they're going to win that division pretty handily.
Yeah, easily.
Are they going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not, but they'll.
But the big question is, will they beat the Lions on Sunday Night Football?
No, they will not beat the Lions.
They're a favorite.
Campbell's ready.
Philly's the favorite.
I know, but Dan Campbell's ready. This is his type of Philly is this type of atmosphere he likes. I
Yeah,
think Detroit comes in. They've he's um he's taken over play calling duties now for the offense.
right.
So I definitely, yeah, I got the Lions here.
Oh, I agree. I definitely like the Lions here. I do think there is, dissension in Philly that doesn't help them. They're still a good team. They have good players. They run a good scheme. There's a lot of things Philly does well. But Detroit for me is, I talked about this back in, I don't know, it was week 3 or something like that, where you could see their momentum building. They had a couple hiccups, as they're going, but I think they still are building momentum as they go. A couple of those losses kind of like gave them an eye openers, but you watch them getting better every week, and that's not good for Philly in this game. This is the kind of game for me where you can pick Detroit to win because you get points, but also if you're an alternate spread better, you could get a great odds by giving up some points with Detroit because I think they
Hmm.
probably win by a touchdown. So I definitely have Detroit here winning as well, um, probably by a touchdown. All right, well, Monday night, last pick of the week, it's Vegas, right? So Dallas going into Las Vegas, playing your Raiders. Dallas gets 3.5 points on the road. Understandable with the way the Raiders are playing lately, but Dallas isn't that great either. I mean, they were pretty unimpressive against Arizona.
Yeah. Is this the Chip Kelly actually gets the offense going? Can he give Genty the ball? Because let's just, it's getting kind of ridiculous that he's not even getting 20 carries. Um, yeah, I'm sorry for the one guy, but I'm gonna have to go freaking Dallas here.
Oh man.
I just can't see. They're just like you only got 7 points against the Broncos when your defense played so well and got you good field position the entire game, and you only got 7 points. So I just can't take. I just have no faith right now.
Man, Raider Nation falling apart.
Well, the problem is, and I've said this, is like you can be bad, but unless you're really bad and get that quarterback, you're just going to be stuck in mediocrity. So it's like this. They'll probably win this game, and then they'll end up with like the seventh or eighth pick and then not get what they need.
Well, that's why I'm taking the Raiders to win this game. Because much like the Bears, the Raiders are very self-destructive. And the worst thing for them to do would be to win, 3 or 4 games to finish the season here. So once they beat the Browns, they beat the Cowboys, they beat the Giants, and then probably maybe the Texans. You got them right up there at 6 wins.
Yeah, probably what will happen.
Well, but the actual reason that I also think that the Raiders will win this game is because Dallas' defense is pretty bad, but particularly bad at covering the middle of the field, stopping a lot of the zone type runs or the lead that Genty I think is really good at, and if they can get him the ball, I think Genty will have a big game, and I think Brock Bowers will have a big game. It's going to be a shootout in Vegas. You haven't seen a lot of points, but you're going to see some points here. And I'm taking Vegas. I'm going to take the Raiders to win this game. Although, if they were smart, they would win all the way up to the end and then throw the game. Kind of like they did last week.
Or against Jacksonville,
Uh,
or against the Bears.
hey, they've been in some close ones. They've had their chances. All right. Well, so we got a few swing games in there. So one, two,
5.
three, yeah, four, five. Yeah. Well, the Giants is a stretch for me, but I don't know. I have a feeling about that coaching change. We'll see. We'll see if my theory on coaching changes holds up here. All right. Well, we'll wrap our picks there and come back here in just a minute with our weekly movie review. We have Cameron Diaz movies coming up, so stick around.